welcome to the Silver Spleen. My name is Ike Turner, and this is my review of The Lost Bladesman. The Lost Bladesman is based on the legend of
关羽
one of China's biggest cultural heroes. I've never read The Three Kingdoms. I've never watched any of the TVB adaptations. I don't watch TV. What do you want from me? I had no preconceptions or previous understandings of that story, so it would seem rational that I would enjoy The Lost Bladesman. One of the interesting things about Chinese culture in general, and Chinese cinema in particular, is the concept of high context. In a high context culture, people learn by observation and immersion. In a low context culture, people learn by telling and by being told. Movies are the same way. This is why no one ever gets lost watching a Hollywood movie. But in cinema from a high context culture, we don't get that. We've all seen
关羽
in a lot of movies, especially triad movies. Nobody tells you who he is. The people that make the movie assume, understandably, that anybody watching the movie already knows who he is. Well, the same concept is at work in The Lost Bladesman. Everybody is supposed to already know this story, so there's no need to make it plain or cohesive. Besides, Donnie Yen makes movies that don't have characters as much as they have Donnie Yen. The horse is weeping tears of jealousy. So what happens when one of the most recognizable actors in Chinese cinema essays one of the most recognizable characters in Chinese culture? Most men wish they were Fabio. Fabio wishes he were Donnie Yen. Ideally, we'd get an unforgettable film. What we get instead is a mishmash of fight scenes, brooding, and self-righteousness. They could have called it Irish Catholic Marriage. There's no real story here, as far as I can tell. I'm sure that it follows the basic outline of the
关羽
story, but the film itself is so disjointed that there's little point in trying to follow it. Well, if the story is that Donnie Yen kicks a lot of ass, well, yeah, then the story makes sense. And I'm sure that for a lot of people that like martial arts films, that's all they need. And so in that sense, hey, lucky you. On that level, certainly the film works. There's a lot of fighting, and the acting isn't bad. Mostly.
姜文
Plays
曹操
and does so with no small amount of relish.
孙俪
Was interesting and believable, but she wasn't really given much to work with. Lucky bread. I felt that romantic subplot wasn't really handled very well, but that's probably because there were no fight scenes in it. If she and Donnie had just kicked the shit out of each other every time they met.
But I'll tell you one motherfucker thing. The next motherfucker time I see this motherfucker and he ain't got my motherfucking money, I'm gonna bust his motherfucking head.
It probably would have been better. I'm sure that the subplot would have received a lot more care and energy and attention. It was also nice to see Andy Onchikit in a small role. It's obvious that Andy and Donnie worked really hard, and we get to be the beneficiaries of that. But martial arts aren't really enough to build a movie around, unless it's a shameless excuse for a string of fight scenes. Like Chrissy Chow, Donnie Yen's physical attributes simply cannot cover his acting shortfalls. At times, I thought it would have been better and even more believable to have used a
关羽
statue instead of Donnie. One of the funniest moments of the film is at its climax, when Donnie makes his contractually stipulated face of rage. For whatever reason, it's accompanied by this sound. Donnie comes off looking and sounding like a combative special ed student that dropped his french fries. It was hilarious, although unintentionally so. So I can't say I got nothing from The Lost Bladesman. It's not a great movie in some ways, but if you like martial arts, you should definitely watch it. But if you watch this movie, buy it. Don't steal it. In the description, there are links to where you can buy this. Buy a DVD, buy a Blu-ray. It's up to you. If you enjoy this review, please leave me a comment. If you didn't enjoy the review, please leave me a comment. And then go do deep breathing exercises in Beijing. If you enjoy my reviews in general, I would greatly appreciate a subscription.